How do you evaluate just overall what the offensive performance was on Saturday?
Obviously really, really good to start the game. Felt like we were focused and went out and made plays. A number of third down conversions early, and was really happy with how we started.
They held you to 2 yards per rush, but y'all stayed pretty committed to running the ball. Why is that philosophy shutting you down?
Well, the biggest deal with it was still where the game was, and our biggest deal is as you get it to the fourth quarter and still give yourself a fighting chance. Take care of the football. Obviously, the one turnover we had, I felt was huge in the game, just because of inability to get points when you had it down inside the 40-yard line, and part of our deal was just keep the game in a manageable setting, and from our standpoint, you got to run the ball to do that.
It's been a few weeks since we've seen James Gilbert carry the ball. Do you have any idea on his availability?
I would anticipate he will play, but to be honest with you, I thought there was a good chance he would play last week. I'm hoping we'll get closer and closer to full strength when the game kicks off.
Is it just a sprain, or is this is it a serious sprain? Is it a little bit worse than that?
Well, obviously it's been something that's been keeping him out, and we got to get him better. But we also want him to be able to play when he's full strength.
And Jordan Brown got dinged a little bit.
Yeah, same deal as far as we need him, but we need him full strength, because we're a whole different outfit, I believe, when you got those two guys. I mean, obviously they were both fairly healthy when we played Oklahoma, and we played really, really well. Unfortunately, they got nicked up a little bit there. As I said, I would hope that they're both back and able to play, but until you get out there and they see how they truly feel, because there's one thing we don't want to do, and we don't want to put them in a situation where they can't defend themselves, being tailbacks.
What are the bigger challenges this West Virginia defense poses for you guys?
Well, they're again, which a lot of teams in this league are. They're that odd front, not all the time, but they play quite a bit of odd front, and they have length at their D-line. They do a good job of putting pressure on people without having to blitz a bunch. They really do a pretty good job of stopping the run, and we've got to do a good job being able to establish the run, because the people that have had good chunk plays from the passing game, a lot of times it's been off of a play action type of play. So that's what we need to be able to do, establish the run and then be able to throw it.
What adjustments did Texas make in the final 3 quarters last week?
Well, I think the biggest thing they did, a couple things that they did, was one, they didn't give us some free ones. As an example, the big play to Malik, they obviously had a bust in their coverage. The other part that I thought they did is they really just turned it up as far as kind of pressing the outside and saying, hey, inside 7 or front 7, you guys need to get after it. And they did a nice job with their D-line and linebackers putting pressure on us, stopping the run game, and then forcing us to have to be able to make a play in the passing game.
Did that play to Malik work even better than you had anticipated?
To be honest with you, it was similar to earlier in the year where Malik kind of got out in space one-on-one. Unfortunately, in that one, he didn't make a guy miss in space, and this time, obviously, he did a great job of having a one cut, and the guy kind of flew by him. And then, Malik's long and can run. So once he got out in space, he had a pretty good feeling he was going to be able to go score.
Is Joaquin out this week?
I don't believe he'll be in a position to play. But obviously, every time for any of those injuries, it's more what the docs say when we get to Saturday. But right now, I anticipate he wouldn't.
On Malik, Coach Clem said he's about 85%. In terms of being this late in the season, I mean, it's not really kind of truly anyone's going to be 100%.
Yeah,
right?
everybody's probably a little closer to 85% by the time you get this far into the season. The biggest thing for Malik, quite honestly, is his ability to feel comfortable and just go play fast. I think fortunately for us, he has felt pretty good, but he's not close to, quote, truly 100%. But like you said, not everyone, almost no one is at this time.
Do you approach games differently? I know it's a small deal, but if you perceive the opening kickoff versus deferring it and getting it to start?
Not so much. A little bit more would be, where are you going to be starting the second half? In other words, if you're getting the ball starting the second half compared to maybe not getting it starting the second half, and how do you call the first 2 or 3 or 4 plays of the second half? And that's more trying to get the right mindset of your team back. If you've been running the ball extremely well during the first half, a lot of times you want to come out and try to establish that, hey, they're not going to stop the run. If you maybe haven't been running it as well, you want to come out and get a play action, do something to try to get a little bit of a momentum play right out of the gate starting the second half. But opening the game, it's pretty much whether we get to receive the kick or don't, we're pretty much similar. We're going to start the same.
Did Texas really make a concerted effort to take away the quarterback run in that game?
I felt like they did, because in some of our outside run game stuff, it was definitely hey, you're not giving it for the hand sweep. You're going to have the quarterback keep it. And obviously that they're, when he does keep it in those situations, now you got your quarterback getting tackled like a tailback, and we really didn't want to put him in that situation very much.
With Josh Youngblood, what's impressive about what he's been able to do?
The biggest thing really with Josh is just that when he gets his opportunity, he plays 100 miles an hour. If it's not just the return that he took back for the touchdown, but in general, when you see him, if it's handing him a ball when he scored on the touchdown run, he plays as fast as he can play, and he plays, I don't know, freeze, maybe not the right term, but he doesn't have a lot of cares in the world. He's worrying about trying to make something happen, and I love that about him.
Are you surprised at all just how fast he's kind of ascended in the program?
He did a great job when he got here in the summer of really trying to learn the playbook and really trying to understand where you fit in as a receiver. And so I'm not surprised. I think the sky's still the limit for him, though, because I think he's just scratching the surface of what he brings to the table.
Has anything major changed with the tight ends with the loss of Sammy, or is it just kind of?
No, it's a big loss, honestly. And the biggest thing would be is because obviously he's a big enough guy, even though he's not huge, just get in the backside as a tight end and maybe not be at the point of attack from the run game standpoint, but yet then still be able to stress people in the passing game, because he's obviously a much more fluid athlete than the other tight ends.
There have been a few times in the last 2 games where Skylar's had an open receiver maybe 10 yards downfield, and he just overlooked it to go deep. And is that what you guys coach him to do, to always look for the bigger play in those situations?
No, I think he still just has to make a game day decision when the play's happening. We even talked a little bit about some of our naked bootleg stuff where he's getting out on the perimeter. When do you just take it down to the tight end or to whatever's in the flat, and when do you go push the ball down the field? And you can't tell him this is the best time to do that or this is the best time to do this. He's got to feel it, and I think he's done a good job this season doing that.
Along that same line, first year in the system, you would expect there to be some mistakes, but Skylar's thrown 204 passes, and he's only one of 4 starting FBS quarterbacks to only throw 1 interception all season.
Boy, can't wait until this weekend now. But part of that for him is I think he's done a good job of trying to let the offense come to him, not try to force things. And every week we'll talk about, take what they give you. You can't be afraid to try to make a play, but yet you can't force plays to happen. And knock on wood, he'll continue to do that and take the opportunities. The other thing that the receivers have done a nice job is they've gone and attacked the football. Dalton's a very good example of a guy that's really done a nice job high pointing the ball on a couple different nakeds where he's thrown the ball deep down the field to Dalton. Dalton went and took it away from the DB. And that's part of it also, as far as not throwing interceptions, is receivers basically going and attacking the football.
Who did you bet on in the Dalton versus Josh race?
No idea. Didn't know it was happening until, unfortunately, I saw it on social media like everyone else. So.
Are you okay with guys doing that, or are you always worried, like, what if they pull a hamstring?
You're always, 2 things. One, you want to let them have fun and let them cut it loose a little bit, because it is a long season and a grind, but you're always worried about something, unfortunate happening when you do that.
All right, guys.